Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Okay, today is a very special episode of What's on Tap podcast, because today is
the 3-year anniversary.
I know, I am shocked.
Flabbergasted.
Flummoxed.
Flummoxed even.
Yes, even.
Awestruck.
That we have been around for 3 years. I did not think we would keep doing this for this long, because I've been podcasting off and on for close to 15 years, and I would say normally the excitement, anticipation, and enjoyment of podcasting runs about a year and a half at best.
Yeah.
But we've been doing this for quite a while now. I don't know that we're Sweden's oldest beer podcast, but we're probably one of the most prolific, because in 3 years we've done over 200 and something episodes.
That's
and
nice.
We cover a lot of stuff, and have had a lot of great interviews and some fun games and a lot of variety. And we try to vary it here or there, do some different things.
Haven't gotten to all of Malmö's pubs yet, but we'll get there.
There's more and more, and there's a lot of different places to check out and things to do. So we're getting there. We got another trip to Copenhagen planned. We'll try to do more stuff and get out and about and do more bars. We've been a little lazy on that, but there's been some life choices that have come about that have facilitated that.
We're on the rise there.
Yeah, but we're week in, week out, Thursdays at noon, we're going to put out another episode, so you can always count on that. But to celebrate this
momentous achievement,
momentous 3-year anniversary, we have something very special. We have 3 years of barrel-aged Ten Fidy in the stovepipe cans, which means it is how big are these cans? 1 pint, 3.2 fluid ounces, coming in at a aggressive 12.9% ABV.
This is a lot of beer.
This is a huge amount of beer. But we've done this before, where we've tried just not barrel aged, but the regular Ten Fidy, and everyone said you can't, people were like, you can't age a Ten Fidy, it's not going to work. You're not going to like it. And we proved in the episode where we did this was that
you can like it.
Everyone hands down picked the 1-year-old Ten Fidy over the brand new one.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just so much better.
So you should age it for 1 year.
At least a year.
Yeah.
We didn't have. I don't think we had older than. We had older than that. Maybe we had 3 years of that.
Got it.
But I remember the 1-year-old was just a much better beer than the fresh one. And the fresh one's really, really good. But you really get the rawness of the flavors on the first the first release. So today, like I said, we have 3 years, 2019, 2018, 2017. And I thought, well, that's a great way to celebrate our 3-year anniversary.
Yep.
So we'll start with the newest and work our way down.
Yep.
If that's okay with you.
That sounds great.
Wonderful. So first up, we have the
19, the fresh.
19, yeah. Let's just go through and sniff all three.
Yep.
To see if we notice a difference in the smells.
So they're all aged in bourbon barrels.
Yeah.
Do they differ in any way, or is it the exact same, months in the barrel?
As far as I know, it's produced the same way every time they create it, and there's no real deviation in the.
That's good to know when we sniff these.
All right, so I would say the fresh one this year's is
more
pretty. Huh?
More bourbon.
More bourbony, yeah. It's much stronger on the barrel aging aromas. Last year's...
They become more chocolatey as they age.
Last year's, you lose a lot of it, but you start to pick up some raisin notes.
Yes.
Like you get in kind of these aging processes. And then the third one, I just think smells inert. I don't really smell anything at all.
I smell a lot of chocolate.
Do you?
Like dark chocolate. But now I'm getting drunk just smelling these.
Well, almost 13%, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
There's some fumes coming off of this, which is good because you want to let these things air out and blow off some of the residual alcohol aromas to give them some room to breathe. So that's good. All right. So let's take the first one. Cheers.
Cheers.
That is sharp, a bit aggressive in the barrel aging. You really get the booziness. You really get the...
This is a good beer.
Lightly chocolatiness that's kind of hidden underneath the booziness.
Yeah.
It's a really good beer.
Abrasive booziness.
Yeah. This is brassy.
Brassy?
Brassy.
I don't know. I don't know that.
Brassy would be kind of like showy, in your face kind of aggressive.
We're talking ballsy.
Ballsy, yeah. Brassy's kind of like a 30s jazz term or something like that.
I get it.
All right, so this is your harlot of the night, kind of.
Ha.
Still excellent, but just really, really raw. I mean, you get the kind of edgy aggressiveness
There's
to it.
a lot of bourbon, char in this one.
Yeah. Then did we drink a little sip of water in between to kind of recalibrate the palates? I got a little ice water, so.
The water really has an effervescent, spring fresh.
Yes, I
to it.
only import all of my water fresh from the cleanest of Norwegian springs.
Oh,
The pipeline is quite expensive and not environmentally friendly, but I think that the output really speaks for itself and is well worth it.
The water gets a 5 out of 5.
Thank you very much. All right, so the next one is from 18. Wow. There is
So much more chocolate.
Yeah, and there's a really sharp decline in the barrel agingness of it.
Yes.
There's still the residual alcohol boozy heat to it, but you've really dropped out on the bourbon barrel agedness of
This one is so much more balanced. So when people tell you never to age a Ten Fidy, they must be looking for the harsh bourbon, the strong bourbon flavor.
Yeah. And I think, like, even with the regular Ten Fidy, it's got, like, really prominent flavors and notes.
Yeah.
But then when you age it for a year, you're like, oh, when it all balances out and kind of all the jigsaw pieces fit together, you're like, this is an elegant beer. This is a real complex, flavor profile to it. With this one, though...
I like it.
I do, too. I'm kind of sad that the barrel aging fell off so harsh.
Yes.
I mean, it's almost completely dropped out.
I enjoy harsh, strong bourbon barrel aging.
Yeah.
So I'm currently leaning towards the 19 when just comparing the 19 and the 18.
I kind of am there with you.
Yeah.
But let's see what the 17 brings us.
We haven't tried a 17.
All right. Well, cheers.
Cheers. You know what this reminds me of?
What?
This is a great flavor. This reminds me of Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout when it was still good.
That's a long time ago.
I'm talking like 2007, 8, 9.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. So
that's when I became interested in beer. And Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout was the most affordable, most available imperial stout.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my friends, we would buy cases of it. And then drink it when we could, and then age it. And it kept getting better and better for years. I think 4 or 5 years was the maximum. Then it dropped off dramatically. This reminds me of the glory days of Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout.
All right.
It's hitting my nostalgia nerve.
That's a very powerful nerve. I have to know. I have to say. I don't know. For me, it's just like a downward trajectory. I feel like the sweet spot for this beer, it's somewhere between 1 year on can, like fresh, to 1 year on can. Like maybe around 9 months. I think it's going to be your sweet spot for this.
Yeah.
Because by the time, I mean, and maybe if this is another 2 years on can, you would get a more of the chocolates would become prominent. Because usually what I was expect by the third year was, sure, the booziness is the barrel age is completely dropped out, but the chocolate and raisin and those kind of flavors might start to become more dominant. I don't get that as much as I had hoped.
So 19 and 17 for me are two completely different beers.
Oh, yeah. If you were to try them side by side, you would not know they were the same beer.
And the 17 is held up by my nostalgia connections right now. So 18 is the worst for me. It's not bad. It's not bad by any measure, but it's the most disappointing.
Yeah.
I enjoy 17 more than 18.
I think you're right on that.
Wrong?
I think you're right. I think 17, the 1 year, it's just a little bit of a muddled mix in between the two.
Yeah.
Whereas the fresh one is very clear profile.
Bourbon,
blah, blah, barrel-aged. And then the third one, the 2017 is more
smooth.
It's
silky.
much smoother. I think that 12.9% ABV really hurts this beer because I think you just cannot escape the booziness.
No, you can't.
It's just so pow in your face. Yeah, it's a real. I mean, I'm always surprised when you do these kind of tastings, like how much a beer will change and evolve, or devolve, or rebalance and whatnot. And I see this has been the sharpest drop off of any beers that I've actually done this with.
Yeah,
it's quite interesting.
While we contemplate these beers, I want to ask you, since I've only been a real part of What's on Tap podcast for like a year, maybe at most. What are some, putting it short, what are some really good moments from the last 3 years that you still remember?
Well, so when I look back through the beer haze and think about all the things we've done, these 3 years, so many memories. Just wish I could remember them all.
I know you've told me about an interview with Jacobsen, Danish.
Yeah, right.
Carlsberg Jacobsen.
So I would say NBCC is always a highlight. It's amazing interviews and so many great people to talk to, and brewers you just never get the opportunity to talk to. We had a really great interview with I believe it was the marketing director for Jacobsen, and he brought some very hard to find beers that are only sold
like laboratory
beer, laboratory level beers that are only sold in this one particular restaurant in Denmark, and they're made just for this restaurant, and you cannot get them anywhere else. And the restaurant only seats like 20 people. Yeah, it's a really, really small place.
They usually do.
Yeah, and they were quite extraordinary, and it was really interesting to talk to him and learn about the history of Carlsberg and how much they've really. I mean, people. One of the things I always find interesting is people really slag on these mass-produced, beers. But in the day, if Carlsberg hadn't developed yeast strains, we wouldn't have commercial beer.
No, I know.
It's amazing. I mean, you think they just created all these commercial yeast strains and they just gave them away for free.
Yep.
And that's why we have commercial beer.
Carlsberg said, "What's good for us is good for every brewer."
So Danish.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I really respect the shit out of that. And they still have an incredible science laboratory where they do a lot of experiments with yeast strains. I just wish they would make better use of them.
Yeah.
That's my only downside. So you've got all these yeast strains. Why aren't you doing something with them? Come on. What are you waiting on? So that was a really fascinating interview. I would say actually getting to talk to I can't think of his name now.
Give me a clue.
Mikkel?
Yeah.
At NBCC this year.
Ah, nice.
Was really cool. I did not expect to be able to actually interview him for. It was only like 7 minutes, but still, I did not expect to actually get to talk to him. So that was really cool. Other highlights were I actually love Game of Beers. I think it's one of the most fun things that we do.
Yep.
I think it's just a great challenge, and it's just a lot of fun to put on. Just going around to different bars in Malmo and Lund Copenhagen and just talking to people and just a community that's kind of grown up around doing the podcast. I really appreciate it, and I think that's probably the best part of doing it over the past 3 years.
Nice.
And so since you've been doing it over the past year, how have you felt about doing it? What have you taken away from it?
Well, since I started as a temp, basically. Is that the word in English? No, like
yeah. You were a
substitute
or fill-in.
I was a super substitute. So in the beginning, I just felt like, oh, this is really fun to be a part of. Now that I've become like a regular show host, it's different for me because I don't have the entire history. I enjoy finding beers that I want to bring to you for us to try and dissect. I'm looking forward to hearing your trying to find weird flavors and stuff. I really enjoy going to bars and talking about them.
Yeah.
I haven't been a part of the interviews because of the way so far up until this episode. We've done festivals where I go nuts with my ticker friends.
It's hard to nail you down at the festival. I'll give you that.
Yes, but we'll change that for specific festivals.
Right.
In the
so
future.
we have All In Beer Fest coming up that we're definitely going to be doing together.
Yes.
And for Great Swedish Beer Festival, you've already committed to.
Yeah. So my entire
to alcohol poisoning.
my beer crew in Halmstad, they're not my beer crew. The beer crew in Halmstad that I've tagged along.
That's okay. You can call them your bitches. You call them that in private, so I understand.
I've already offered them sleeping arrangements in Malmö.
I understand. Yeah.
So we're going to go all in, maximize everything and go to the after party. We've already talked to the brewers that are going to be at the after party. It's going to be all in. But All In Beer Festival is going to be a lot of fun. To actually do the What's on Tap podcast experience.
Well, let's see. Mathias can't join me for Great Swedish Beer Festival, but Chandra has said she would gladly opt in.
That's going to be an awesome
as a co-host. So that should be a lot of fun to do and talk to people. So we'll have a lot of fun interviews from there as well. And that'll be mid-October. So I'm looking forward to that.
But if I need to pinpoint one specific detail, it's when I hosted the game of beers for you and Mathias, and I gave you Westmalle Dubbel.
That was really tough.
And you guessed red ale, and he guessed wheat beer. That was my high point. It was just great.
I'll never forget the time that we did this game, and it was Mathias versus. Adrian.
And Adrian had
and Mathias just straight off the bat said, Left-handed Brewery, Moohoo Stout. And I'm like, are you sure that's which one to go with? And he said, yes. And I was like, all right. And it was Amdapolo, Noah Pecan.
Yes.
This was the give me. Like, there's no way you're not going to get this.
Yeah, and that was also the episode where you had Stigberger's West Coast.
Yeah.
And before that episode was recorded, Adrian had drank like 2 cases of West Coast.
What I didn't know was that he had spent like the past 2 months in Croatia drinking nothing but Stigberger's West Coast.
So he took one sip of it and said, oh yeah, this is Stigberger's West Coast. I know it quite well.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit. I did not mean to game it in his favor that way, but that's just, the way it works sometimes.
Yep.
So it's been a lot of fun the past 3 years. I've really enjoyed the experiences and trying things and, like I said, getting out and meeting people. And it's just been a really good time overall. And I look forward to, the future in the next 3 years and whatever else and on top of that. So, we're only gonna do better and better going forward. But let's get back to these beers.
Yes, I'm eagerly waiting to give ratings for them. I've set the ratings in my mind.
I want to taste through them again. All right, so these have had a little bit of time to. We've had a few sips. I've drank about half of mine so far, and there's still about Jesus Christ. I don't know if we're gonna drink the rest of these, but there's about half of mine so far, and about half of it in the can too. And I find that the 2019 is a little spicier.
Yeah.
It's got some more herbal notes to it, I think.
2019 is hitting all of my barrel age love.
Yeah. I think the 2018 is not as refined as I'd hoped it would be. I really thought that the sweet spot for these three would be the 2018.
Yeah, and it's not the best of both worlds, it's the worst of both worlds.
It really does fall in a weird place where it doesn't really, since it loses so much of the barrel aging, and it doesn't have anything else to occupy that space, it just kind of goes, blah.
Yep.
And then the 2017?
Yep. Hits my chocolate.
Hits that brown in it for you, does it?
No. It's my old Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout nerve.
Yeah.
I can't shake it. I've tried.
My only downfall on this one that I really think that hurts it is that it's so alcoholic-y. It's so boozy that that 12.9% really shines. Like where the fresh, the barrel aging kind of masks that booziness pretty hard. The 2 years later, it's
you know what? I don't agree.
It's
2018 tastes more boozy than the 17.
No, they're both pretty boozy. I would say once that barrel aging falls off, that booziness really peeks its head and goes, "Hello, how are you doing?"
Oh, is that the boozy?
That's the boozy flavor.
Ah.
You would think it'd be like, "Hello, I don't want booziness,"
but no,
like,
it's
booziness. I'm going to fuck you up now. So I don't know. These are tough. All right. So what did you give the 2019?
4.5. This is a great bourbon barrel-aged stout.
Yeah. I'm going to actually start at a 4.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I like it better on tap than I do in the can.
Ooh. look at Mr. Fancy Pants.
Look at me. I've tried this on tap before.
I only drink beer from taps.
Just straight from the tap only.
Fair enough.
And then the 2018?
3.75.
I'm actually going to drop it much harder than you. I'm going to give it a 3.25.
Woof.
Because it's just so muddled, and it loses any complexity and any interesting notes to it. It's not bad, but at the same time, I'm like, if I'd had this on a blind taste test, somebody just gave this to me and said, "What do you think?" I think I'm still feeling pretty generous at this point.
I think that if you had this compared to a much lesser stout, we've had stouts on this show that we gave like 3.5 and we bashed them to hell and back.
Yeah.
I think if you had those two next to each other, this one and a previous 3.5, you would like this more.
Probably.
I think so. I think the comparison between these three beers are not doing any of them any favors.
Maybe not. If you had them in isolation, you'd probably appreciate them pretty much more.
I think so.
But I think the whole point of this is to show how beers age out.
Oh, it's interesting for us to drink them side by side. I concur.
And then the 2017.
4.25, but I think that's a lot of nostalgia carrying that rating.
Yeah, I'm actually going to balance this back up to a 3.75.
Okay.
Because it does recuperate and recover.
Yeah.
In some really nice, excellent ways. Like I said, I think if you're drinking this out of a snifter and it had more time to what do you call it? Not denature, but denature.
Oxidize,
I guess. So let the alcohol heat burn off. So as these beers like open up and the alcohol fumes kind of burn off the beer, I think they become more pleasant and more rounded. And I think that drinking them in these glasses, which are more of the tulip-shaped glasses, don't allow the alcohol fumes to burn off fast enough. So I think that this 2017 is a really nice beer. It already smells so much better, and I think you're getting already much more chocolate notes from it just in the passing time that we recorded this
Then you
episode.
should increase it from a 3.75 to a 4. It's a 4.
Can't do that because what did I give this?
I gave it a 4.5. You gave it a 4.
Right. And this is definitely better. The 20, sorry. What I'm pointing at is the 2019. 2019 is much, much better.
They're allowed to be tasty in different ways, Stefan.
They are, but I don't have the nostalgia factor for you. Like I don't understand. Not for you, but I don't have the nostalgia factor like you do. So that's why I just can't give it a higher rating. I think it's really, really good. Because if I did that, then I have to up everything across the board.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'm just looking at the can.
Yes.
Cross-eyed cyclopean concupiscent. I have no idea what concupiscent is.
Concupiscent.
Concupiscent?
Right.
So what's that?
I have no idea.
Oh, come on.
But I'm saying so you pronounce it.
You can't correct me and then...
I can correct you in the English pronunciation, much like you can correct me in the Swedish pronunciation, which I find that is done quite often because I don't quite put the correct emphasis on the right so blah blah.
No.
Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed our 3-year episode. And I can't believe we're entering into 4 years.
No. So now
that just blows my mind.
Every listener needs to go back to episode 1 and listen from 1 to 200 and that this is, and then you're allowed to continue listening.
Yeah, and most episodes are only 15 to 20 minutes long. Outside of the Game of Beers and the interview episodes, most episodes are only about 20 minutes long.
Yeah, so, you'll knock it out in a week.
Yeah, so you can get through those pretty fast.
We believe in you.
Yeah, I think you can do this. I really encourage you to go back and listen to all episodes. I think you'll find it a lot of fun.
Or, even better, just go to whatsontappodcast.com and search for Martin. And then just listen to those episodes. Yes.
Just the past year, just focus on those episodes. You'll be fine.
No.
It's been a good year, man. Thank you for joining me on this latest adventure, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun going forward. We have our Advent calendar episodes coming up pretty soon.
Those are going to be so epic.
Oh, I cannot wait for this, because this year we have created our own Advent calendar, and I cannot wait to see what you and Mathias have brought to this calendar. It's going to be so much fun.
When we talked about beer before starting the record on this episode, I almost revealed one of my beers to you. Oh. I'm that excited. I'm so excited too. I want to talk about it whenever I can, and I need to hold back so hard.
Yeah. I've got a collection of beers I've been saving all year round since the start of the year. Just stuff I've been able to get my hands on that I'm kind of like, oh. And then it just dawned on me, we don't know what each other's bringing. We could have duplicates.
We could definitely have duplicates.
But you and I could have duplicates. Mathias won't have duplicates. But you and I could possibly have duplicates because we order quite often from the same places.
There's a higher risk that me and Mathias will have duplicates.
But Mathias is going into a cellar.
And I went into my cellar.
Nah, your cellars are quite different. I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Okay.
Because I know what Mathias will bring out. Mathias will not bring out any goods from his cellar. He'll bring out like big stouts that he hasn't been able to get into.
Yeah.
Oh, you are too, huh?
No, I'm not revealing anything.
Yeah.
My lips are sealed.
I feel like you've just revealed everything. All right, so you can find us online at whatsontappodcast.com. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. Christ, I should really write this down sometime.
You should.
Yes, and iTunes, and anywhere else you can find podcasts. Until next time,
keep drinking, you dum-dums.